Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu nishmas imi Mordechai Mordechai. Rabbi Isai, beautiful email. It's long, but every word is golden. Very chashuv. It moved me. You know, we get a lot of these emails, and it's usually from a certain type of person. It's because the guys in Koilel and the Rosh Yeshivas that watch, they're not into writing mails. So if you're in Koilel or you're Rosh Yeshiva, write in. Rosh Koilelim can write in. You sent me a few things. Dear Rav Eli, first and foremost, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations on the birth of your granddaughter. Such moments are profound blessings, and I wish your family Mazel Tov and endless nachas from her. I hope this letter finds you enveloped in simcha and deeply immersed in Torah. It's with a sense of gratitude and personal reflection that I write to you, having been profoundly impacted by your MDY Shurim. As I near the 100-day milestone of my journey through Daf Yomi, starting with Baba Kama, I'm reminded of the unique path that has led me here and the serendipitous connection that link our stories. Yishkoyach for that word. Perhaps it's a bit of Jewish geography, but in the 1980s and 90s, my father, Dr. Elliot Wapniak, Olav Hashalom, regularly studied Talmud with his friend Rabbi Yehuda Shmulevitz, the nephew of the revered Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, whom you often reference in your shiur. This shared lineage of Torah study brings a sense of closeness and continuity to my learning, to my own learning. Reflecting on my journey, I'm reminded of a moment in 1996 when one of my high school rebbeim from Rambam and Sifta, Rabbi Har, inquired about my post-high school study plans. My quick-witted, albeit sincere response was, "What do you mean study? I'm done." You did your job at that time. You did your job. At that time, I truly believe my formal Jewish education has concluded. It took over 27 years for me to find my way back to the structured study of Torah through MDY and the Daf. Though I was raised Orthodox, my path has since taken a more secular direction, with my visits to shul being few and far between, primarily for my parents' yard sites, and occasionally the high holidays. Not every high holiday, but occasionally. My observance of Judaism, for the most part, remains far more traditional and cultural in nature. Yet, despite the distance, the resonance and depth of your teachings have bridged the gap that I thought insurmountable, rekindling a connection to Torah study that I thought was lost. In my endeavor to connect with the Daf while I strive to follow along in a physical copy of the Talmud, I often find myself listening to Yeshurim during my runs in lieu of music or a podcast. This practice has not only transformed my physical exercise into a spiritual journey, but also allowed the words of the Talmud to accompany me, resonate within me, and elevate these moments of solitude into times of profound learning and reflection. Since the tragic events of October the 7th, I found solace and purpose in joining an online group of Kohanim on call, it's called, dedicated to giving brachot to individual chayalim engaged in Operation Gaza. This has provided me with a renewed sense of community and a tangible way to contribute positively during these tumultuous times. My commitment to the Daf was so fervent that in anticipation, I purchased every Shantzin Talmud from Baba Kama through Avodah Zarah. Should I be eligible for a free Gemara and, God willing, still be diligently learning the Daf, I would be honored to reach out to you again for a copy of Horius. Your shiurim have not only been a beacon of learning, but have also served as a bridge, reconnecting me with the heritage I once thought I had left behind. For that, I'm eternally grateful. May it continue to inspire and illuminate the paths of countless others, as you have mine. Kol Tov, Adam, Avi, Wapniak, originally from Brooklyn, New York, and now from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Very, very good. Now we need a counterbalance. We need a Rosh Koilel to send in an email or a Shiva. You already did. We need the reels. Hi, Rebbe. I'm the person who emailed you recently that I cried when I read my daughter's lunch note, telling me how proud she is that I stay up every night till 1 a.m. to learn the Daf. I mentioned in my email, though, that I usually fall off the schedule when you're in America, and now you're here. So first, Mazel Tov, may the parents be zechus, legadlu, leTorah, ben Torah, chuppah, masim tovim, and may they and your wife have much yish and nachas. Okay, enough about you, now back to me. Just kidding, you're really a central character in this story. My wife and I have been planning to go out for dinner tonight. But today, I told my wife there's a problem. If we go out, I'll miss the shir. We can't go. But we still wanted to celebrate. So I had an idea. I stopped off at a fancy restaurant on the way home from work. When I got home, I set the table with our Shabbos China. So we're able to have our restaurant experience. And I tuned in live to learn the daf. Thanks again for all you do. Your Talmud, Anani Mouse. So here, I don't know if it was during dinner, but Lamaisa, because he did the dinner at home, as you can see in the picture, he was zaycha to listen to the shir. And when you do sacrifices, when you sacrifice like that, then your children see it, they understand it, and they write notes like he got in his lunchbox. I went to this cheder when I was a kid. It's called Yeshiva Darchei Torah in Far Rockaway. And here, let me see if I could get the audio. We had a little bit of a problem last night, but they fixed it. Let me see if you're able to do it today. No. Are you able to get it, Gary? They did it. I did. Oh, through your laptop. They did it through the laptop. Are you able to do it? Good afternoon, Rav Eli. I really enjoy your daf. I'm originally from Chicago. I remember clearly when my sister got married in the Midwest Conference Center, when I was the caterer there, you came over to our house to discuss details with my father. When you left, I remember my father saying, he's such a mensch. What a pleasure to deal with people like that. Wow, I got him good. I fooled him. You got it, Gary? Let me know when you have it. I'm just going to go. We have to start the shir. I was fortunate to attend the shir in person on Motzei Shabbos, February 3rd, before you flew out for your son's simcha. On the following 8 daf, I was on the road for work and was able to do the daf in 6 different countries, from Israel to Switzerland, Portugal, Canada, the US, and now Mexico. Photo evidence attached. My first time through the Daf Yomi cycle included 22 countries and more than 200 cities. Wanted to share this to give a little chizuk to those who travel a lot. You hear the Rosh Koilel? The Daf makes a great carry-on and becomes an anchor in our lives wherever in the world we find ourselves. Stick with it. May the merit of our Torah and your commitment to spreading the Daf continue to bring light into the dark time. Your Talmud, Chaim Newman, formerly of Toronto, now of Eretz Yisrael, and airports worldwide. Yeshur Koyach. Yeah, you got it, Gary? Okay, we'll continue. Huh? I'll just do the sponsors now. Koilo for the day. Gail Clearcopper, in memory of my father Mordechai, Yaakov, Berufola, Avram Yitzchak, Marty Isaac. The Masechta for the unity of Am Yisrael. Parnas HaChodesh, L'nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, L'nishmas Chayo bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman. It should be a zechus to Rav Eli for continued siyadta dishmaya in teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Parnas HaChodesh, Mazel Tov Ahron, Rav Eli, and the entire mishpacha on the birth of Sophia Rus. Parnas Hayoim, Zev Wasserman, refuah shlema for Chana bas Yocheved. Parnas Hayoim, Mordechai Sapoznick, Mazel Tov to Rav Eli and his wife on the birth of the granddaughter, Sophia Rus. Mazel Tov to their son and daughter-in-law as well, but they continue to have simchos and nachas for many years to come. Baruch Hashem was able to make it to MDY before Rav Eli ran to Florida. Yisrael Shalitsky, my great-grandfather's yard side, Vav Alder, Ramosha ben Rabbi Yosef David Zechron Levrachim in Brisk. And on the recent wedding of Rumi and Fegi Shalitsky, may they be zoichot to build a bais name in Yisrael and nachas, the art of the month, anonymous for the zechus, for an easy childbirth of his daughter and a healthy baby. And Rabbi Sai, check this out, straight live from Daf Yomi. Rabbi Sai. Beautiful. Do that again. Good afternoon, Rabbi Sai. I was hoping that Noam Fix would be here today. I think he flew back already. He didn't. Monday. So let me mention this. February 12th, based on the Goyish calendar, was 6 years. 6 years since MDY started. 6 years. We started off at the Zohar Daf Chav Ches. We're coming around. We're almost at Bamatzia, Bavasra. With the Zohar towards the end of Nezikin. Another year and Levi. It's been like 6 years since that day. 5.5 years-ish. 5 maybe? No. It's that long. I'm telling you, time flies. Time flies. All right. Rabbi Yisai, we're holding by a brand new sugya. Omer Rav Sheshes. Don't get too worried. We have a very, very short daf, Motzei Shabbos, daf Kuv Zayin. So if we don't get through the whole Kuvav, we'll be able to do it on Motzei Shabbos. It's like 10 lines from the bottom. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 lines from the bottom. Omer Rav Sheshes. HaKoifer b'pikadain. Here's the picture. We just changed it out. Somebody says, you are watching my cow. Can I please have it back? And he completely denies it. Denies it. HaKoifer b'pikadain. So at that moment that he denies it, Nasa Olav Gazlan, he switches from a Shomer Chinam to a Ganav, the Chayiv B'Einsim. All of a sudden, because he lied, he becomes Chayiv B'Einsim. So if something happens to the animal, he has to pay. But Taratuna, and I can prove it. Bekichesh ba Lamadnu Oynesh. So here the psukim here. Pasuk Chaval talks about a pikadon. Bekichesh ba misa bepikadon. He denies the fact that somebody had him watch an object. So we're going to talk about those two things. Kichesh, v'nishba, there's two things. There's kfira, there's somebody that denies having it, and there's somebody that swears, v'nishba, and he swears he never had it. Two different things. Rav Sheshes tells us a chiddush that with the first one, the v'kichesh, just denying the fact that he ever took care of this animal, that alone, without swearing, just v'kichesh, just koifer in your head or saying, I'm not the shomer, he becomes liable as a gazlan. What's his punishment? Pasuk Chav Gimel v'heishes hagzela asher gazal. He must return it. He must go all the way to Madai. Whatever it is. There's other things. Well, there's a chaymesh that comes for other things. So it says v'tana tuna we learned v'kichesh ba lamadnu oynesh hazar menayin. You know that you don't get a punishment. Elam came mazirin, ein oinshim elam came mazirin. So what's the hazara? Where does it say in the Torah you shouldn't do so? Talmud loymar lo yisachachashu. Lo yisachachashu. That's somewhere else here. In Vayikra lo yignoivu lo yisachashashu lo yisakru b'hamisai. Okay, so already it warns us: don't deny. And if you deny, what's the thing? You have a punishment. My love. Oynesh kfira. You have to be goyer say kfira. So Rav Sheshes says, I could prove my theory that just denying is enough to be over. Loy neshvua. From here, I could say it's coming to say that Yocheved Veishvis Zela, even if he didn't swear. No, it's talking about that he swore. It's not a good right to Rav Sheshes. Oh, but I thought about that. I didn't just say it. I knew what I was saying. I thought I did have a good right. Why? My proof is really because the continuation is talking about a case of a shvuah. So then the Reisha is talking about a case that he just did a kfira, he just denied it. And you see, like me, Rav Sheshes. What does it say in the Sefer? The Tani Sefer. So here's the pasuk in green. It says V'nishbal sheker. So we have two things: v'kichesh that we spoke about, denying, and then we have the shvuah part, a completely different thing. If he swore falsely, l'madnu oynish. What's the oynish Rabboisa and sheker? I'm not going to make a big deal that the Baruch Fraiman came back in one piece from Jenin, and he's here with us. And every time he comes back, he comes straight to the daf, whether he sleeps or not. No, he doesn't want. He doesn't want me even to mention his name, so I won't mention his name. What happens when you nishbal sheker? You pay a chaymesh. That's the oynish. V'nishbal sheker l'manu oynish. Hazar minayin again. Once again, where does it warn us on this? Oh, so go back to that puzzle. It says in Vayikra, you shouldn't swear falsely. So the Gemara says the simple raya. Once I say case number 2 is talking about a shvuah, obviously case number 1 is talking about without a shvuah. And it's a raya to Rav Sheshes that without a shvuah, if a person denies, you knock on his door, hey, could I have my ox back? And he says, I don't know who you are, what are you talking about? That itself makes him liable for oinsim. You don't have to swear. Amri. Amri. No, I can push that off as well. Both the Reish and the Sefer, both cases are talking about one case that he swore. When in the Sefer he admits on his own, and the Reish is talking about that there's Eidim. The what? Also Eidim. Chayav ba'insim. He's chayav ba'insim if the Eidim come and say, you lied. But if he admits to it, chayav b'keren chaymesh v'asham, then he's chayav in the whole thing. The principal, chaymesh, 25%, and a karba. If a person is moeder miktsas, yeah? He says, I admit, you say, I owe you 100, I admit 50. So what's the halacha? A guy that's moeder miktsas, chay shvuah. What if this guy's a bad guy? We already has a history. He swore falsely, whatever, in many different ways he swore. He's a bad guy, we can't trust him. Big chiddush. Typically, if I say you're chayav 100 and you are moeder miktsas, you, the nitba, the one that was asked to swear, he has to swear. But in this case, since he cannot, why? Because he's a bad guy. So the teveya, the plaintiff, yesterday I went into the whole story with Willie. I'm not going to go into it again. That the guy said, the guy won a case against me, and it said we fight in favor of the plaintiff. So I called him in Motzei Shabbos because I didn't myself know what a plaintiff was 100%. I wasn't sure. So I figured if I don't know, he for sure doesn't know. So I said, hey, Willie, sorry. It says we fight in favor of the plaintiff. I'm sorry. You lost the case. Oh man, what should I do? I said, I'll give you $100 if you sign off over here, but that's the most I can do. You know, even though you lost, I'm still be nice to you. I'll give you. See his masking. Are you allowed to do something like that? 100%. The guy's a god of Russia, Marusha. So I said the story yesterday, and he asked afterwards in Hebrew. I said, how do you say teveya? Because I said plaintiff is teveya, and the defendant is the nitva. So then I asked the guys in the Israel. I said, what's a teveya? So a kid screams out, drowning. He's drowning. So like the whole sugya, this kid is thinking about the guy's drowning. Why is the guy drowning? And it says kafatz, he jumped off the diving board. His mom is drowning. Okay. Huh? No, that's how it is. That's how it is. That's what it tells you. That's what it said over there. That's how Rashi says like me. Oh, so what's the case that the guy said was a bad guy? He swore falsely to testify for his friend. A bad guy. This is what we want to focus on. A guy swore falsely that nobody ever gave him something to watch. Why is this a kasha on Rav Sheshes? Because this is taking it all the way to the extreme. He swore falsely that nobody ever gave him something to watch. What if he denied falsely? He didn't swear. He denied. According to Rav Sheshes, just denying alone makes him what? A ganav. And a ganav is pasleitis. About a ganav is pasel shvu, he can't swear. So why does it say over here that if he swore falsely about a pikadon, then we don't let him swear? Even without that, according to Rav Sheshes, one step before that, if he denied falsely that he had a pikadon, he would also be pasel shvu. That's the Gemara's question. Vafilu shvu shav. Shvu shav is very interesting. If a person stam, he has a juk in his head, he says, Rabbi, you see this table? It's made out of gold. Everybody knows he's crazy. It's a shvu shav. He can never swear again. We don't trust him. The Misa, the Gemara just continues the question that we explained. According to Rav Sheshes, just by being koifer, just by saying, I don't know who you are, I never had your thing. You didn't have to hold on to Sefer Torah and make the whole shvuah. I never did. Stop. Get out of here. I never took your cow. That itself should make him pasul l'shvuah. The Mishnah that says that he's choshed on the shvuah, he's choshed on shvuah sapikadon, is talking about that it's not a real problem. Look at this case here. The piano that the guy's claiming that he has in his house is not in his house. It happens to be in the swamp somewhere. So why is that not a problem? He's not such a ganav. Why? Because he feels kind of silly. He borrowed a piano, or he's supposed to watch the piano. Now it's not in his house, it's in the swamp. So he tells the guy, I don't know who you are. You never gave me a piano. Meanwhile, he's going to hire as soon as the guy leaves, call up the moving company, run, get the piano, give it back to him. He's not a bad guy. He's just trying to buy time. Anybody that's buying time is not a bad person. He could swear. So Nachmal, you're asking me, if a guy denied the fact that there's a pikadon, how come he's allowed to swear? Because in that particular case, he's in the agam, he's not a bad guy. But if the piano is in his house and he says, I don't know who you are, then he's a bad guy and he cannot swear. The last kfiru, it's not considered really denying it. I'm just trying to buy some time, and I'll go return it to him. Teida, and I'll prove it to you. If somebody denies, you hear the word, the key word over here is koifer. He denies, like we call a guy a koifer. He denies HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't swear there's no HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He denies HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Over here, there's no shvuah over here. He's denying the fact that he got a loan. Kosher leidos. A lot of people deny loans. Doesn't mean they're the worst people in the world. Why? We can be melamed zechus in them. They feel bad. They know they owe a lot of money, and they just don't have the money. So they say to themselves, pretty soon I'll get another job. I'll make it up to you. But meanwhile, I don't want to deal with this guy. He says, I don't know who you are. Are they ganavim? The Gemara says they're not such ganavim. They might not be the best people in the world, but they're not chashur on saying shvua sheker. They're not hakover milva kosher leidus. You know what? Like the famous joke, we're not going to say it again. The minig is to deny these kind of things, and Memela, he's part of society, he's kosher leidus. But if it's by him in his house, Daf Amud Aleph, Pasaleidos. In that case, he's in fact Pasaleidos. Why? He's a bad guy. Give it. You have the piano in your house, just roll it to the front door, give it back to him. What are you doing? So Nachama, Rav Sheish is the opinion that a person that denies, he just says, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't have a piano in my house, that makes him a ganav. And he's chayivan einzim. As the Gemara V'Amar Ilfa Shvuah Kaina. Shvuah de Kanya, Kfir Loi Kanya. It seems like that if a person swears, he takes the final step, the hardest step of swearing, he makes a shvuah, then he becomes liable for oines. Shvuah Kaina. Mashma, the step before that, Kfira, just denying without swearing, Loi Kanya. Isn't this a kasha on Rav Sheishes? Hachanami the Kaima Ba'agam. Your kfira is not a strong kfira in this case because we're talking about that the piano is in the swamp, and he's not a bad guy by saying that it's not here. When is he a bad guy? When is he chayv and einzim? When he swears. Oh, that's already too much. Don't take it all the way to the end, to the swearing part. Kaim v'agam, if he swears, he's also chayv einzim, but if he just koifer, not. But I could answer differently. I could say, what does it mean that shvuah koina? This is a chiddush, Rabbi Sai. Some of you will fall off your chairs. Pasha. Unbelievable chiddush. Listen to this. Kid Ravhuna the Omar, Ravhuna Omar Rav. Says Rav. And we're going to try to elaborate, and we're going to come up with a different shot at the end. But initially, this is unbelievable. Manali biyadcha. You owe me 100, and the guy denies it completely. Something like this. Here, very simple case. You have Ruvain, who's the lender, and you have Shimon, who's the borrower. He says, you took the 100, and he used it. Then, okay, time goes by, he comes back. He says, no, you owe me 100. So he says, I swear, he makes a shvuah. He says, I didn't borrow 100. Okay, Rabbi Sai. Stop right over here. He swore he didn't take 100. Come aid him and say you're a liar. We saw the whole thing. How much does he owe? Says Rav, 0. What do you mean 0? Aid him saw. No. If you take him to Bezdin and he swears in Bezdin that he doesn't owe money, you can't go after him again. That's called double jeopardy. He already went to Bezdin. And Bezdin took care. You agree that he could swear. Oh, if you agree that he's going to swear and that's going to absolve him of the chiyuv, that's it. You're done. I ate him come and they testify. Too late. Tremendous chiddush. So it's not going to be exactly like that. It's going to be in one case. It's like that. Potter, he's completely potter here. There's the continuation. The Edom come and say we saw the loan. So. What do you mean? There's nothing stronger than Edom? No, says Rav, you swore. And I have a pasuk for it. Shenemar. V'lokach ba'alav v'leishalem. V'lokach says Rav is a lashon of. Let's see, we're the pasuk here. You know, you see the pasuk. Okay, Shvuz Hashem tiyeh ben shneim. Lo yishalach yadav. We're talking about a pikadon. I am watching something of yours. I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything. V'lokach ba'alav. The owner accepts upon himself, says Rav. It's a lashon of acceptance. I accept your shvuah. And therefore, never in the world will he have to pay again. That's it. Gufa. So, what we're going to see here is something like this. That at the end of the day, Rav's halacha is only in the yellow. That what? That if a person claims, somebody comes to him and says, hey, aren't you watching my bull? Could I have it back? He says, yeah, I'm watching it, but it got lost. And he swears that it was lost. Then he's potter. Even if Adam come and say it never got lost, then only in that case. But what if he says it got lost or it got stolen and he admits to it? Admitting without Adam is the worst. That's a pasuk. Yichayev, top thing. Misham keren v'choymish, you have to pay keren v'choymish. What if a guy says, not that it was lost. We said the whole halacha of Rav is lost. What if he says it was stolen? And then Adam come and prove that it wasn't stolen? Then he's taka chayev. He is chayev. He's not only chayev, he's chayev kefil. So let's see the sugya. Gufa. These lines we just read word for word. We can fly through it. Freebie. He swore bo Adam the Adam came potter. Shenem lag bal v'lei sham. He shkiblu bal shvuah shuvei misham mami. Amar Rava. Mistabre milsa the Rabbi Milva. If I had to think about what Rav said, I on my own would say that what he was talking about is only one case, but I happen to be wrong. I would think that's only talking about alone, milva. Why the late son? He swore that he didn't have it, it's not by him in his house, because you're allowed to use a loan. The whole point of a loan is to go use it, spend it. But when the guy comes to knocks on the door, can I have my car back? Think about it. Rabbi say, think about this logically. I come to you and I say, could I have my car back? I swear, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear I never borrowed your car. Shvuah, Sefer Torah, Nishba, Hashem, I never took your car. Says Rav, he never has to return the car. Doesn't have to return the car. It's my car. He's driving around in my car. He made a shvuah. The Edom come. I have title to the car. No, says Rav, no. You don't have to return the car. You made a shvuah, it becomes yours. Says Rav, it makes no sense. Well, it's mine. What do you mean? It never left my it's my car. But what am I going to do? You're right. Logically, it doesn't make sense. But in Hashem's name, shvuah. Omer Rav, and Rav said this. I feel because even a car. The chiksiv kra. In fact, the whole pasuk of v'lagach ba'alav here. We're not talking about a gneva. We're talking about, did I use the car? We're talking about it because the chiksiv kra. So I don't know what to do, says Rav. So Rav Nachman said over Rav. That what? Again, this unbelievable chiddush. That if a person claims that I never saw you, I don't know who you are, the money that you're claiming I have by me, I swear I never took. Even if Adam come afterwards, he's potter. So Ravach asked Rav Nachman, a guy goes over to the Shoy Mechinam and says, where's the thing that I asked you to watch for free? It was lost. Now it's different than if he would have said it was stolen. Why? Because Tainus Nignav, we had the whole sugi, right? A lot of this we had already. If a person Tainus Gneva, and then we find out that he's a liar, how much does he have to pay? Kefil. He's a Ganav. He has to pay Kefil. Over here he says Avad. Mashbiach make you swear, Omar Omein, and he says, I agree. Oh, we have a beautiful picture here. Mamish Gevaldige stuff. Here we go. Look closely. You have a bunch of guys with New York Yankee caps in the back. I counted 70 people in the backyard. Massive barbecue going on. And a farmer comes to the front door. The guy has grease all over his barbecue thing. Where's my cow? I never had it. And there it is. The oilam is fressing away in the backyard. That's mamish it. And then if you look closely, all the way in the left corner of the backyard, what do you have over there? The two Eidim. So I want you to swear, he says. He says, Amen. Okay, you got me. Shvuah. Okay, we'll see. This is outside of Bezdin. Doesn't need to be in Bezdin, not Bezdin. But you get the idea. The idea is, hey, big Dani, where's my cow? Amalei Avad. So, lost. Mashbiachani, okay, so swear. V'amar, what was the case? Did he say it was lost? I never had it, he says over here. So we have to change it to Avad, to fit this case. Mashbiachani, v'amar, there's Eidim that say that you ate it. Mishalem is keren. In this case, there's only keren, no kefil, because he said it was lost. He didn't say it was stolen. Now, this is the problem. Why? According to Rav, what should the halacha be? He swore. Rabbi said he swore. The guy says, "Where's my cow?" I swear I never had it. Then we Eidim come and they say you did have it. So how much should he pay? 0. So why does it say keren? He has to pay the principal. That's a kasha. Now, we'll just keep on going. If he admits on his own without Eidim, he has to pay me even more. Oh, that's the case over here. He swore outside of Bezdin. That's not a real shvuah. That's a fake shvuah. The guy that swears outside of Bezdin without the Sefer Torah, without the whole thing, that's not a real shvuah. And what? If it's not a real shvuah, you have to pay. You don't pay when it's a halacha in Bezdin, it's a psak din, you made a shvuah. In lieu of paying, you made a shvuah. Not if it's outside on the street, in somebody's backyard. How do you explain then? Where's my cow? Oh, this is the case of stolen. Over here, I have to pay kefil. Oh, based on this cannot be in the guy's backyard. Why? There's no kefil in a backyard. What's kefil? A knas. There's no knas in backyards, only in Bezdin. So he says, if I want, I can just give you a doichik terrace that the Reish is talking about outside of Bezdin, and you're right, the Seif is talking about inside Bezdin. But I'm not in the mood of saying something dachak right now. So let me tell you this, I have another pshat. Oh, we're going to get into Tavach. That's a very good point. And Tvicha. He's saying it doesn't even say anything about Tavach. And the Gemara is going to ask this question on base. How does he get away from 4 and 5? If he had a whole barbecue in his backyard, so he did Tvicha, he did Shchita, he's chayiv right away 4 or 5. What's the answer, Avi? What are the cases of not paying to 4 or 5 and eating? Huh? It wasn't kosher Shchita. Oh, Treifon, Vela, Shutfus. This is the case. If I want to keep it doichak. Says the Gemara, either Bezdin. That's why the kid thought we're talking about drowning. He jumped. No, who jumped? The Toiveya, the plaintiff, the Malva says, hey, the owner, he says, I want you to make a shvuah, not Bezdin. We're going to see there's 2 very important components for shvuah. The Bezdin has to make you make a shvuah, and it has to be inside the Bezdin. 2 things. Over here we have one problem, a big problem. When the guy that brings you to Bezdin, he asks you to make a shvuah, it's not a good shvuah. So that's the difference between the Reish and the Sefer. I have a stomach question on you, Rav Nachman. I know for a fact you don't agree with Rav's thing at all. You don't like Rav in this case. That what? Just because a guy makes a shvuah and then later on come Eidim, you potter, it makes no sense. Rav Nachman, you don't agree with that, right? If Eidim come, you're chayiv. I don't care how many shvuahs you made. If that's the case, mashkuni nafshoch, so why are you selling your soul? You're giving your nefesh away as a mashkin ad Rav Lamalach. Why are you working so hard to figure out Rav? Which, okay, it's not the biggest question in the world because we have it throughout Shas. Omerlei, the Varusha the Rav, I want to explain Rav. The Rav Achimitar is what do you mean? Rav is the granddaughter. I don't agree with him, but he said pshat in the Mishnah. It's impossible to say Rav forgot a Mishnah. When Talmidim would ask Rebbe Ber on a Rebbe Kiveger, and say, maybe you could answer the Rebbe Kiveger like this. So he said, no, and why did Rebbe Kiveger answer that? Rebbe Kiveger probably thought about your genius answer. So let's think about why not. So when Rav said something, you have a good kash from Mishnah. Obviously, Rav knew this Mishnah. Let's explain why Rav didn't have a problem in this Mishnah. I myself personally don't hold of Rav, but that's a different thing. But we have a big problem. Rav says the pasuk of Velakach Ba'alav. Mefurish, that the owner accepted upon himself the shvuah. Says the Gemara, Amri, Kra, the pasuk is talking about something else. Chana Shbam Shbator Nishbam V'Lim Sham Vuda also. That the entire Torah, who has to swear? The plaintiff or the defendant? The defendant. The one that has to pay, the mal, the shemichinam, those people, they're the ones that make a shvuah. Besides the case that we saw, that he's a gan of a Russia, a liar. Okay, fine. If a person made somebody swear 5 times on the same thing, Bezdin says mufurish. That wasn't in front of Bezdin, it wasn't in front of Bezdin, mufurish mission shvuah. And he denies each and every one. He comes to him 5 times, maybe in 5 different Bezdin. But he didn't. You took $100 from me. Where is it? I swear I didn't take it. He goes to St. Louis, to the Bezdin over there. To what's the name of that place in South Carolina? He goes to the Bezdin over there. Each place, and he denies it each time. He's chayiv each time. We said you can only make a shvuah that you're chayiv on is only shvuah that absolves you from monetary obligations. It is you do absolve yourself from monetary obligation. Why? Because in each and every time you could admit that you really, and you didn't admit, so that makes you chayiv. Says Gemara, you can't say that the malva or wherever the guy is, the Baal Din asked him to make the shvuah and not Bezdin. Why? Because it seems like other people made him swear. Hishbiya alav, that the Bezdin made him. And chutz lebezdin le'motzei Shabbos. What are the 2 boo-boos in a shvuah here? Rav says we need 2 things, 2 components. First of all, we need Bezdin to make you make the shvuah. Second of all, it has to be in Bezdin. If Bezdin make you make the shvuah and you jump outside to the playground and you do the shvuah outside, not a shvuah. If the Baal Davar, the guy that's bringing you to Bezdin, he makes you make the shvuah and you're inside of Bezdin, also not good. You have to have the 2 things together. So the Gemara goes through the 2 things now. Chutz lebezdin lo motzei Shabbos, that was outside in the backyard, you can't say it. It says b'fnei Bezdin ktani. The other cases, even in front of the Bezdin. And v'chafetz lo motzei Shabbos also that the guy made him do it inside of Bezdin, also not, because it should be all of ktani. Amris, so the Gemara says, who might have loved him? Well, he asked the question, he answered his own question. There's nothing ktani, right? Like one of my favorite lines from the Maggid Shir in Chicago. If you look in the outschool to ask me a kasha, look in the outschool for the teretz. Okay, good. Who might have loved him? That's a good kasha. He answered that. The what? Hishbiel of chutz the Bezdin or Bezdin kafats. Yeah, we're talking about 2 different cases. Case number 1, that the Hishbiel of Bezdin did force him, but where did it end up happening? Outside of Bezdin, so you don't have the 2 components. Or you have the blue. He did swear in Bezdin, but who made him swear? Not the Bezdin. The plaintiff. Okay, that's why. That's the 2 cases. Zok the Gemara. But Rav himself holds, you need these 2 components. When I have these 2 components, that he swore in Bezdin and Bezdin made him swear, then he becomes potter. Zok the Gemara. Motzei Rava. So Rava has a kasha on Rav Menuna. Balabais, Shitoan, Taina is going to be called the Minishba. Here. So over here you have, it's the same case, right? But instead of money, it's a car, it's a Tesla. Shimon is watching the car, and then he comes back. He says, where's my Tesla? What he said? No, that's not good. Okay, fine. Ganav is stolen. You have to say Ganav over there. He swore, and then he admitted to his wrongdoing, and then came Edim. If he admitted before the Edim, then he has to pay everything. If he admits after the Edim, this is outside of Bezdin. And you can't say that the other guy made him swear. This will happen to be in Bezdin. It has to be Kefel. And Kefel is only Bezdin. So therefore, Rava goes back to this thing that we said all the way in the beginning. He argues and he says, Rav said this. Here's the bottom line. Rav only is talking about Avad. If a Tainus Avad, and then he swore on that, and he said, I was watching your thing, but it got lost. And I swear that it got lost. And then Adam comes and said it wasn't lost. Then he doesn't have to pay. Only in that case. One case. So it says Rabbi like this. That's in purple. When you admit to something, even if you claim it was stolen, lost, why? No matter what, you have to pay. It says it in Fursh Apostle. Is Ganov. And if the guy comes to you and says, where's my Tesla? And you say it was stolen, in that case also you have to pay even if you swore. This kefil. Only one case, when he says it was lost, and he swore, and he didn't admit. And then came in that case, says Rav, that he's potter, but if he was Maida, as we said in the purple, then he would be chayiv keren chaimish and everything. Also, Rav Gamna v'amar l'shmaita kamid Ravashi. So Rav Gamna came and said this in front of Ravashi. Amalei. Ravashi is a very interesting taina. I'll say about Peh. Rav Amnuna was a Talmud of Rav. He's asking his Rebbe, what's pshat? I have a Mishnah that says that if you swore 5 times on one thing, you're chayiv 5 times. And we said, why? Because it could have been Maida. So we're talking about a case of Aida. So if Rav Amnuna understood in his own Rebbe, he understood his Rebbe as talking about a case of Haida, that he's Maida, so how do you, Rava, explain Rav? You never learned by him even. And you're like, he was talking about not Haida, because Haida, we have the purple. Haida Yichayiv. Rav Amnuna understood Rav talking about Haida, and you understand differently. Umar Rav Amnuna Talmid the Rav. He was a Talmud of Rav. The other Dhamma Rav, and he understood the Rav said even in the case of Haida, the case of Haida, and he asked him a question from a case of Haida. And you say no, that if he admits, everybody agrees that if a person admits to his own shvuah sheker, that he does have to pay the principal and a chaimish and a carbon. Very simple, says the Gemara. Kuvav, Amud Beis, if it's success and return of our chayalim and hostages, and for the zechus for Klal Yisroel, we need it big time. So, Nachama will say about Peh. Says the Gemara, it's better late than never. Come to shir anytime. 2 minutes is better than no minutes. Says the Gemara like this. There's people in Eretz Yisrael, people in America don't know this. A lot of people that live in Ramat Beit Shem and Eretz Yisrael in general, they have American hours. So they work through the night. And they come to the daf anyway. I know for a fact, Hill works till 3, 4 in the morning. And he comes late because he just hopped an hour to sleep and then he comes. Bemis, it's a chizuk. People watching in America, the guy just showed up. It's 7:15 shir. No, they work American. A lot of people in this room work American hours. Says the Gemara, like this. It's a little dakizdik. We said if a person swore 5 times in a row, he has to pay 5 times. We have a big problem. Why? Because there's a concept in Shas, I can't make you swear 5 times in a row. So what was the pshat? Why does a person, in this case, chayav 5 times? Because he could theoretically admit in between each time, and then each time becomes a new chiyuv mammon. I'm absolving myself from a chiyuv mammon. So that's what he was asking. It's not a case of Haida. The pshat in Haida is, I'm just using the word Haida to say, he could have been Maida. But in fact, what Rav Nun is asking is a big problem on Rav, but he wasn't Maida. That's what he's asking. Why is he chayav on all 5? Basrais on the last 5th one. Because he has the ability to admit. That's great. But if you, Rav, my Rebbe, Rav Amnuna is asking his Rebbe, Rav. But according to you, Rav, that if Adam come, he's potter, I have a big problem. If Adam, the strongest things in the world when it comes to mammonis, 2 Adam, Trey Kimeya, 100 Adam, it doesn't matter. They come and they say, you're chayiv, you tell me, Rav, that this unbelievable chiddush, that he's actually potter. Why? Because he swore. And you're going to make this guy pay 5 times without Adam. Because he could admit. L'maisa, there's no kfiras mammon, because at the end of the day, there was no haida. If he was maida and there became a new chiyuv of mammon, you're right. So there's 5 new chiyuv of mammon. But it's only, he could. There's a potential for chiyuv mammon. Potential chiyuv mammon, as Rav Nuna doesn't make any sense. especially according to what you're telling me. How could it be worse than Eidim? Eidim come and say that he's chayiv your potter, but the potential of mammon that will make you chayiv 5 times. That I don't understand. Rabbi explained to me. New sugya. Omer Rabbi Chayiv Rabbi Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Hatointan is gana b'pikadoin misham tashlumi kefel. Rabbi say, listen to this chiddush. First of all, I'll say over from the Bali Musar. They say this line: Hatointan is gana b'pikadoin. Akash Baruch gives us belongings and money. So when somebody comes and knocks on the door, somebody comes for tzedakah, and you say, "Oh, Gnev, I'm sorry, I don't have any money." So then, Misham Tashlumi Kefal. Hakadosh Baruch gave you because he gave you money to give others, to share the wealth, and you're lying about it. You say, "I don't have. I'm sorry. I'm tight." It's that. So Hakadosh Baruch is going to take from you Kefal. That's what they say. Okay, a lie. Akal Banan says like this. Listen to this chiddush. If a person is watching somebody else's animal, knock on the door, could I have my animal back? Sorry, it was stolen. And then you go and you shecht it in the backyard. Yeah, this case, Rabbi said this case right over here. Says Rabbi Yochanan, you chayiv 4 times. First of all, you chayiv kefil, and if you shecht it, you chayiv 4 or 5, depending on the animal. If it's this animal is short, you chayiv 5. Tov achumachar misham tashlumi arba v'chamisha. Big chiddush, he says. Hoyel, why? V'gana misham tashlumi kefil. V'tointan is gana misham tashlumi kefil. I got to tell you the story real quickly because there's 4 minutes left, so there's plenty of time. I thought it was Gevaldik Maisa. There was 3 Ganovim, show-offs. Each one wants to outdo the other. So they see a guy walking by with a horse, and to the horse's tail is tied a sheep, a goat with a bell. And the guy's on the horse, riding the horse like this into town. So says one Ganav to the other, I'm such a good Ganav, I could steal the goat. Says the other Ganav, that's nothing. I could steal the horse. With the guy on, I could steal the horse without the guy. Says the third guy, you think I could steal the clothes off his back. Okay? So comes the first Ganav. He unties the bell, ties it to the horse's tail, and then unties the goat. Which reminds me of Maisa Shahaya with me in Chicago. Going from one Maisa to another, you're going to like this Maisa. In the south side of Chicago, this property I still own was the Kool-Aid factory. We were building houses there, built 10 houses. Kitzer, one of the guys tells me, it was a very bad neighborhood, very bad. Like we would sell the house, and then after we sold the house, we installed the air conditioner outside because the air conditioner lasts there for 10, 12 hours max, and you have to like tie it down with chains, the whole thing. The guys, there was no electric there, so they were working with generators. Generators are expensive, $1,500. So the guy says, listen to what happened yesterday. You're not going to believe it. I'm in the middle of working, and also my tools don't work. I do the saw, but I know I'm plugged into the generator upstairs. I hear the generator working. It's gaitnish. Yeah, I'm working up. So I said, okay, let me check it out. So I go upstairs, climb upstairs, and I hear the generator working, but there's no generator. What do? They put a tape recorder with the generator sound, and they generate out. So that's what happened over here. The guy takes the bell. He puts the bell on the horse's tail, and then he steals the goat. He walks away. Oh, so the first guy did it. Second guy comes to the guy on the horse, says, listen, I never saw a horse with a bell. What's going on here? A horse with a bell. He turns around. He sees his goat is gone, and the horse has a bell. He says, what happened? He says, don't worry about it. I think I saw a guy with a goat over there. He went into this. Let me hold the horse for you. You run after him over there. So he jumps off the horse. He goes. He gets on the horse, and he runs away. So he stole his horse. The guy's stuck there in the middle of nowhere, without a horse, without a goat. He comes upon a well. He's thirsty. He's about to drink. He sees a guy crying. The guy's crying. So what are you crying? He says, I just bent down to get a drink of water, and all my money fell to the bottom of the well. You're talking about $100,000 in all my life savings. So go. I said, I can't. I don't know how to swim. This, that. You know what? You go in. I'll give you half. So he says, okay. He takes off his clothes, jumps in, and the guy runs away. So he says, oh, the boy side, this is our life. The beginning of our life, when we're young, okay, we're still young, we play around, this, that. The Yitzhar gets us good. He makes us do shtosim. But then, our mid-age, you think, oh, we'd be serious up a little bit? No. Then also, he takes it away from us. Oh, but you know what? When I get older, I'm going to retire, then that's when I'm going to sit down and mamish, take it serious. No. That also, even at the end, he takes it all. That was just my nimshal. Shvach nimshal. I saw something in nimshal about chinuch. I didn't like it. Okay. What? Oh, Ganovim. We're talking about Ganovim here. I got to show you this because we have plenty of time. Listen to this. It's shvach. I wanted to redo it, but it says like this: that the Bzisha, he's malamed zechus about everybody. He says, listen, you can learn from a Ganav 7 things. First of all, a Ganav, he doesn't fake. He doesn't shuckle in front of people. He doesn't learn because other people are watching. He goes at night, he gambas. Then if he stumbles, he's not good, he never gives up. He gambas again. He'll never steal from a friend. He never gives up a small gneva. If it's only $100, he steals also $10, no problem. Everything. So in other words, we have to learn from the Ganav. Every mitzvah, everything, all the good stuff. When he steals a $30,000 car, what does he get for it? He gets rid of it quickly for $500, $1,000 max. As long as he chaps Arayin again. And finally, he never talks about what he does. He doesn't tell other people, oh yeah, I fasted now 6 days in a row. I'm such a big tzaddik. He never talks about it. He keeps his gneva to himself, and he loves what he does. He doesn't give it up for any other job, and you can learn from a Ganav. Anyway, Zok the Gemara. What does that have to do with our sugi? He says, okay, says Rabbi Yochanan, we can learn over here. We have these 2 cases. Oh, there's a Ganav im Motzei Haganav. There's a real Ganav in the pasuk. Pasuk Zayin says im lo Motzei. It's a guy that claims that he's a Ganav. So we learn one from the other. A regular Ganav pays 4-5. After is Ganav, a guy that claims that it was stolen. He's a Shomer that claims it was stolen. He plays 4-5. As the Gemara, a Ganav is very chomer. He pays 4-5 even if he doesn't swear. But a Shomer only pays if he swore falsely. Amri Akeshi. At the end of the day, look at these psukim, they're right next to each other. Pasuk Vav and Zayin. That's great if Pasuk Vav is talking about a Ganav. And Pasuk Zayin is talking about a guy that claims that he's a Ganav. That it was Nignav. Shapir. If you say that both psukim are talking about. Did I say? Rabbi, I don't think I said in the beginning of the thing. Did I say that Nechem Yisrael became a Chassan? Rabbi said Nechem Yisrael became a Chassan. I was supposed to say, and like I said, I'm going to say, and I didn't write it down, and then I'm forgetful. All right. Maybe Yosef will be able to patch it in somewhere. Amri, Ganav. Okay, fine. You see, it's very hard to see on this thing, but the Haganav, the top line is in green, the Hey is extra. Where is my ox? Nignav, that's Tointan is Ganav. Mashbiachani, I make you swear, okay? This is Hillel. This is for Hillel because he didn't see this. Geschmack, a picture. I love the New York Yankee caps. Every single one of them has a New York Yankee caps. Nobody can chat at the Jewish, and they're at a barbecue. If you're part of the Olam in New York, you know exactly what's going on here. This is a Ma'aseh B'chol Yom. They have the schwitz. The guy has a schwitz in his basement. He has a mikveh. He has the whole thing going on over there. Okay? As the Gemara, this is Avi's question. It talks about kefel, but how did they get to the barbecue? They had a shechted, so shechting is already 4-5. So Rabbi side, let's just see this real quickly, and this is the whole. Imam is very, very simple. It could be a treifa. The guy didn't know. He found it later. There's a hole in the heart, but he ate it. So he did a real shechita, and you don't pay 4 or 5 on that because it's a treifa. Or ben pekua, it was born to a mother that had shechita, so you could eat it without shechita. Or the bezin said, go pay, and then he shechted it, so it became a gazlan. So there's no 4 or 5. Or it's shutim, no 4 or 5. The easiest one is that it's an avela. Okay, that's the first one. So we have 5 ways. Says we're talking about a bad guy. He stole it. Oh, he stole it. He also eats nevela. Says Gemara, but I have 4 other cases that it could have said. Why are you telling me only a case in nevela? Says Gemara, that what? Nachamal. There's no 4 and 5. There's no doubt of hey when it's a treifa. The only way you pay 4 or 5 if it's a beautiful shchita, kosher shchita. Says Gemara, no, Rameh argues even if it's not a good shchita. Later on, you find out it has a hole in the heart, you do pay 4 or 5. Yes, every time we say the word ben pekua, there's a farm, a guy in Australia wants to take a zachar and a cave of ben pekua. You put them together, you have ben pekua babies. The babies have more babies, and they all are potter from shchita l'doiris, and even if they have giant holes in the hearts and lungs, kosher, the best shchita ever. What? Doiraisa. So why did the Rabbanim say you shouldn't do it? Because maybe a non-ben pekua cow will get mixed up, and then it ruins everything. So then you have to ask yourself, very soon, already started happening. Benny's going to start selling this in Benny's. You have the synthetic meat. It's not even fleischiks. So so people might get confused. They might put this meat in this for the same story. They'll say it's awesome. Maybe. Says the Gemara, the Rebbe asks a bam kasha here. The reason why you say that ben pekua ton shchita, not because you really need. You really chayv dalvei. It's just like a gzeira. Fine. Maybe it's the thing in green. What's the case? That if the bezin says go pay, so he has to pay, and then he runs and he shechts, he's potter. Why? My time of the paskin milsa, there's a verdict. He's such a mechutzef. He does this bereish gal in front of everybody. He becomes a gazlan. The gazlan mishal doesn't matter above chamish, and the gazlan doesn't have to pay 4 or 5. So we have another case. There's no 4 or 5. But if they just said there's no verdict, they said, by the way, you're going to be chayav. We'll give you the verdict tomorrow. Chayav in that case, you're chayav. My time of kol kamadoi psikoloi milsa akadi ganavu. Amri, so they said, what if you have 2 partners that are watching Shomer Chinam and goes one of them and checks it? He doesn't have to pay 4 or 5. Is another case. Ella, says the Gemara, I said nevela, but in fact it could have been all 5 of these things. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. A Gewaldige Shabbos, Motzei Shabbos at 8:30. And the Hebrew shir today at 2 o'clock, Mincha according to 2. Shir lam alois soinai and lori man yavo Yisri.